So good morning, good morning. I am so grateful we are all together. We have all the screens working, the microphones. We are tuned up and ready to go. So I am officially here. My name's Kathleen. If we haven't had a time to connect and to chat, we'll have time today. I want to welcome you all to the Patient Learning Academy. This is a special shift of focus. The first day is our annual meeting, and we have all these amazing scientific breakthroughs, and we have an amazing patient panel, and we get to hear direct from our industry partners and supporters what they're working on, how much hope is on the horizon, how we can lean in and help. But today is the day where we kind of shift the focus a little, and we try to build the program around questions we hear directly from the patient community. We give extra opportunities to we all know each other now a little. Now we can sit down, get comfortable, talk, chat, and really lean into all of our concerns. And again, it's not just for the patients, but we invite our industry partners and our physicians and clinicians in to be part of our patient discussions. So with that, as a reminder, today we've got a new QR code, new agenda. They're on the tables if you're in person. If you're watching from home, thank you for staying with us and committing to another day on Zoom. And you should have the agenda, if you're at home, should have been emailed to you, or this same QR code. So I'm just going to tell you where this very brief remark is going to, well, we've all known, you guys know me long enough. It's long story long, short story long. We're just going to do a little housekeeping. I'm just going to breeze through the ALD Connect programming that is really intended and geared towards supporting patients in our lives, and then how people can get involved. So just quickly, today's program is going to focus on all the phenotypes. We're going to get research updates on our gray zone. That's coming this morning. The day you'll notice if you look at the agenda that we're going to have presentations followed by clinical expertise panels. Basically, get your questions answered. So in the morning, it will be pediatric questions. Any doctor in the room, you are brave. Thank you for being here. You're on the hot seat. So we're going to just share our expertise and answer questions. And then in the afternoon, we're going to have some speakers that are more related to adult symptoms and questions, and then an opportunity to ask our questions, because I don't know about the other patient. All of us have the experience of being a patient at some point. And I know it's very easy. I know my questions. I go to clinic, hooray, I forget all my questions. I leave clinic and then I think, I didn't ask that question. I didn't ask it. So we don't want anyone to leave this room without asking the questions they have. No guarantees that we have all the answers, but at least we know what to think about and what to work on. So we're also going to have breakout sessions for the in-person folks. So just as a reminder, there are 2 breakout sessions today. The first one will be right before lunch and can go into lunch. So if you're having a great connection with someone or a discussion, don't worry that it's got a hard stop. And then we'll have another one at the afternoon. So opportunities to move between the different phenotype groups. Right now, we're scheduled to have 4 different breakouts in person: newborn screening and monitoring phase, cerebral ALD, both pediatric and adult, symptomatic men and symptomatic women. If none of these groups fit what you're looking for, then we invite you to reach out to the staff, orange lanyards, and we find other like-minded people if you want to just make a different group. Also, most of the time, every month, we have support calls, and they're for patients and caregivers only, but at the meeting, when we have breakouts, everyone's invited. So clinicians, researchers, industry, everyone is welcome. You're welcome to go to whatever group interests you. You're not obligated to stay the whole time. You can float in and out. I know some patients identify with many of these categories. They may be symptomatic themselves and also have a child or a family member that they're concerned about. You can go between. It's really, you're free to do what you want and to participate in a way that makes you feel good. Also, a reminder that if the groups don't work for you, or if that's just not your thing, go and do something good for yourself, right? If the breakout groups are not serving you and where you are, and this goes for our folks at home. Unfortunately, we didn't have staffing capacity to run at-home Zoom breakouts. So I really encourage people to connect with someone else in your life or take time for yourself if you're at home. Do something that feels good. You know, get a cup of hot cocoa, do something, go on a walk, but then come back when you're ready. Just as a refresher, ALD Connect runs a host of different programs every month. We have community calls, a peer mentor program, we have financial support, we do webinars and educational things. We have community calls that meet every month. You can look on our website and you can get the registrations for each. We also have one that's not listed on this that we do every quarter. It's a partnership with Alex TLC, and it's a special call. I see Karen Harrison, I'm smiling at you. Woohoo! It's at a special time that works better for our European counterpoints so that they don't have to come, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard is not necessarily a great time if you're in the UK. So it meets on a Sunday, 7 a.m. for our West Coast patient warriors. Aaron, I'm looking at you. And 10 a.m. on the East Coast, and then 4 p.m. in the UK. So we try to make things work, but to give us an opportunity to realize that no matter we are in the patient community, we have so much more that unites us and giving us an opportunity to interact. We also have a peer mentor patients with mentors, and sometimes it's the beginning of a really good structured relationship that turns into a friendship. Sometimes it goes on for a year. Sometimes it's a one and done. Sometimes you just have questions and you think, I'm not shopping for a new ALD best friend, but I would like to talk to someone for an hour or whatever and get my feet on the ground and move forward. So peer mentor program, always looking for, is always an availability. And also, if you think you might be a good mentor, reach out. We'll keep it in mind. We'll talk about it. We just, as a caveat, we don't like to onboard folks until we have someone to match them with, just because it feels bad to be ready for something and not be ready to, and not have someone to move on with. We also have financial support. And so this is a really exciting thing that happened for ALD Connect. In 2019, when we merged with the Myelin Project, it gave us the opportunity, the financial opportunity and mandate to continue to support the financial needs of ALD patients in our community and beyond. And so we have two different flavors of financial support. One is the Myelin Project Patient and Family Support Program. This is where we will try to alleviate the burden, the financial burden of being an ALD patient. So that is the kind of grant. We don't pay for treatment, we don't pay for copays, but some examples, we have helped people pay for assistive walking devices. We have helped people pay for their car payment because their child was getting transplant and they weren't working as much, and that bill was going to fall by the wayside. We have helped folks, they were ready to leave the hospital and they couldn't have a safe discharge without their cell phone working. And so we helped lean in and bring them current with their cell phone bill so that they could get home and have safe communication and be able to go home and move on from treatment. So there's lots of different opportunities there. If anyone thinks this sounds like a great thing they'd like to donate to, you can always restrict donations towards this or gear it towards this. The other flavor of support is the Michael Benton Travel Scholarship Program. In honor of a very special young man who loved to travel, and when he passed in 2023, forgive me, we looked at ways we could honor that legacy. And so this is a program that allows us to help send patients to a second opinion, to treatment. It's all travel-based. If you need to come to a conference, and we have a very special group of very generous donors that make this happen. So if you are new to the community and you'd like a second opinion at one of the expert centers and you're not, lucky enough to live nearby, just consider that ALD Connect might be able to help you connect with the right voices and give you the opportunities you need in terms of your care. We also do webinars. This is the QR code for the next webinar and mental health workshop that's coming up in January. We had special funding from Bluebird Bio to allow us to do pediatric mental health workshops. We had an earlier siblings webinar where the healthy siblings, two in particular of ALD boys, talked about their experiences and shared what it's like to be the sibling. Sometimes it can feel like a forgotten part of the journey. I see the Tories right in front of me. They are geared up and ready to lead a new one. This sibling journey is going to be an interactive workshop for the unaffected sibling and their parent. So parents have to be, there's no Zoom box without an adult. But it's an opportunity, again, to really kind of start discussions that you finish with your family and your own mental health care providers at home, but just really to get the discussion started. So please consider, if you're interested, sharing with your patients, sharing with the rest of our community. It's a wonderful opportunity. Just speaking of our community, I just want to remember that we don't do this work alone. We're here under the ALD Connect banner today, but that we are partnering and working with so many other exciting orgs that are doing so much good work. And this is not an exhaustive list, and I put this list up, and I know I'm going to have forgotten someone's logo, and I love you, and I'm sorry, but this is what I could jam onto the page. But again, all of us are working. Like, we are not alone. We are so not alone in this room, but we are not alone worldwide, and we're really trying to expand all the time. Upcoming community event. Oh, date's coming soon. I do have this date. Kelly, can you remind me? ALD Family Weekend is October 24th, 2025. ALD Family Weekend is an amazing program through the Painted Turtle, brought to us in a connection by the Adler family. It is wonderful. I have gone. I brought my camper. He was 18. He was still a camper. But there are newborns through 18 as campers, and it's such a wonderful opportunity to get together for a weekend. We all know why we're there. We all know we're ALD patients and families, but that's not the discussion. The discussion is having fun, doing tie-dyes, running around. They have an amazing setup out there. I definitely urge anyone who's got who considers themselves an ALD family to consider going. Child at heart, child in age. It's really a special place. And then finally, how can you get involved? You don't need me to tell you. You can participate in any of our programming and calls, register for the webinar, consider signing up for the Gray Zone. Hey, there's a QR code if you'd like more information. But also, as always, everything we can do takes money. And so the auction is still open. We'll be closing it today at 5 and announcing the winners here as we wrap the meeting. Angel donor match is still going through the end of Sunday, and right before I stepped up here, we had raised, without the match, over $32,000. So we're still climbing in, but we have a ways to go. So if anyone is open to considering, knows people that are thinking of their year-end giving, this is an opportunity to make your dollars go twice as far. And as always, a special thank you to our sponsors, Bluebird Bio, Minorex, Rectify, and Spur Therapeutics. We literally could not be in this room without you, or the hotel staff would be chasing us out. So we're so grateful for everyone who's not only working in our area, but has the ability to help us and sees the importance of bringing this community together, all of us stakeholders together. And then finally, this is the slide that ends up in every slide deck, I think, for the past 5 years of any opener I've done, is be kind to yourself. Again, as a reminder, sometimes the programming and this day that we've laid out for you is a perfect match. Hooray, you want to be here for all of it. Sometimes it's too much, and that is not just for patients. I should be clear that everyone who we're so lucky to have so many amazing people working with and for us, and it's hard for everyone. These are not stories you hear at the office. These are not stories that everyone wants to talk about with their friends. And sometimes the discussion is just a little too much. And so I want everyone to know, if you needed someone to tell you that you have permission to go and do something good for yourself, go and do something good for yourself. Whether you're here, whether you're at home, all the presentations, not the breakout discussions, but all the presentations are being recorded. And so the hope is that you can come back to it. There's no FOMO. You're not going to miss out. But really just make sure that you're taking care of yourself, and that you leave. My hope is that everyone leaves the day feeling inspired and lighter and more grounded in their community and more excited about where this field is going. So with that, I will say thank you very much, and I will pass it along to our first speaker.